the intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I have an update on a couple things. I want to do a bad crew video, which we'll do towards the end of this video, but I want to start with this. There's an article posted on the Scopely help site about incursions. They're trying to give you all as much information as they can possibly give you, I guess, which is weird. Like, look at them communicating about incursions. Now, myself, DJ, and other content creators and the official moderators on the official Discord, which you can always join my Discord because my Discord is also awesome. Link in the description of the video. But if you have other questions about the setup for incursions, we'll be going over that a lot. This does give you a bare bones. There will also be an in-game news announcement saying a lot of these things. Now, many of you come to me with different issues like, well, you're worried about, well, what if my friend has, a health issue and had to set a 30-day shield, etc. They are going to be looking into those and then trying to protect those players. It's something being discussed. We'll give you an update at a later time for that. I just want to let y'all know it is being talked about because many of you have brought that to me. This Infinite Incursion is going to cover the basics of how it works, see level 25 plus, how to join. There will be information about the building also coming out pretty soon with the Incursion events. You're also getting an event rollout time structure, which we've talked about before in videos, but now you're getting a visual form to share out with your alliance. I realize not everybody watches YouTube, watches live streams, or even listens to the podcast. So this will give you a form, and I will put the link to this, of course, in the description of this, or actually in the top pinned comment of the video. So if you're curious how to get there, leave your own comment, and they'll be at the top one. It'll be up at the top. You can even comment on it if you really want to. So it gives you the basics of how it works, how the invasions work, and the server-wide buffs for winning. There will be a little bit more detail posted, but I wanted to provide this to you so y'all were aware of it, the way y'all could prepare for it and pass it around for those who simply don't know yet, which is still a good group of people because, as I said, not everybody comes and checks out Deuce and other content creators. It's the truth. So I need y'all's help to spread out the information so we can get everybody prepared for incursions. Now, as far as bad crews, we got a few different ones here. Remind you that if you want to share bad crew videos, just hit me up in the Discord. That's the easiest way. The purpose of a bad crew video is to teach you what crews work, what doesn't, and why we bring something somewhere or why we do not. Starting with an Eclipse Armada where somebody, well, I think everybody should know that this is a big no-no, but we do not run, we don't run Scotty basically ever. But this is Uncommon Scotty, Cadet Kirk, and Spock. Now, here's the thing. I understand what happened is this player got confused and put Kirk Spock, but we are in a position where we've got like 15 Spocks and 14 Kirks in the game right now. So which one to use can be confusing. I do want to remind you that Cadet Kirk, who is currently on here, I'm going to throw him up here in the background. Cadet Kirk does not launch morale. If you look at his abilities, he only does an increase to attack, defense, and health stats of officers, and then the tactician increases weapon damage of the ship. He does not launch morale, which Spock needs to be effective. There's not necessarily anything bad with running Spock on an Eclipse Armada for a Stella, especially if you're a lower tier Stella or you're a lower research Stella. Your M score is maybe only 30 or 20. Running a Kirk Spock combo is very common. Kirk Spock Con, one of the most common Armada loadouts we see for an Eclipse Armada. But all that said, this is a no-no. One, you're not getting much of a boost at all from Scotty. And if you're unfamiliar with Scotty's improvement, it is a very, very small boost to hull strength on a battleship, and this is just not giving you much at all. In fact, I would say it is useless. The problem with a lot of cards in this game is even if it's uncommon versus common, you're not getting an actual value from it that is justified using. Scotty is even at Lieutenant Commander, plus 16% to hull health. That's just not going to be doing you any good in the game itself. It's not a viable strategy to run. So if you see your alliance mates doing this, make sure that you talk to them and say, hey, look, Kirk is not helping out your Spock at all here. Your Spock has now become useless. Your Kirk is doing nothing for you really, and Scotty just isn't an effective officer. Replacing this with a multitude of officers, with Khan, Decius, Riker. Any of these can be better officers than what we currently have here on the screen. Let's move over to another one where we have another Eclipse ship. We got another Stella, but we're focusing on over there. Now, I want to point out, this is a solid crew. It's a good generic PvP crew. People are always asking me, what's a generic PvP crew? If you're like level 28, good generic PvP crew. If you're level 38, good generic PvP crew. I do want to really emphasize the generic there. Remember, generic means not that good. It's going to be problematic for you if you are running generic crews the entire career you're in Star Trek, you want to have specified fights. You want to know what you're going up against, and mitigation, damage, all these things are key. Running just a general setup is problematic. Now, what's happening over there, I can understand what is happening. The question is, why is it happening the way that it is? So it makes a little bit of sense. It just doesn't really work as effectively as you would want it to. So let me put Claw on the screen here in the background, rotate it on out. So we got Claw. Main people use him, or mainly people use him for the speed boost, which is hot pursuit, 25% boost to your impulse speed. Now with synergy, take a shot if you're from Ultra DJ's chat, with synergy, that improves and he gets even faster. Now here's the problem. Running Kuron next to it isn't giving you any real help there, so stop it. So I mean, Kuron as an officer is not a bad officer. You see we've got the entire crew here with Claw, Vixus, Kamal, Krass, but you see they're not part of the crew with Kamal. Now, that doesn't make, how do I want to word this? Because like, I'm not trying to hate on an officer loadout. We got to scroll up to find who I'm looking for here, which he is, right? Kuron. I think I was saying Kamal. Kuron, merciless pursuit, increasing the impulse by about 25% till the return to the station. But that's only after you win. The big value in Kuron is the captain's ability, which is the chance to automatically recharge all kinetic weapons in the first round. So you'll actually see him used on D3s or Saladins or something like that. Here, he's not really helping you out or doing anything positive for you. You are losing out on value for a minuscule boost to your impulse. And remember, with synergy, Claw can actually increase that 25%. So if we had Claw and we combined him with synergy, we could actually get a little bit better, as well as actually get a secondary ability that applies to us. So one of the problems with the screenshot that we looked at here, and I'll put it back on the screen, it was this one right here, is we got Harrison for first round, and then we got 2 impulse. It's just not giving you a lot, and that's why this Stella is able to very easily beat a ship twice its size. And I get told all the time, like, oh man, everything in the game is broken, ships are too big, power, power, power. It is not rare, and you will see multiple examples of this in this video, where ships that are twice as strong or better dying to ships half their size because of this. This one basically exactly half the size. But let's go ahead and move on to our next one here, where we just had 2 really interesting ones, but how about a third? And this time, man, it's like Rev was foreshadowing. Look at an Enterprise taking out a 14.2 million Kelvin because of crews. Now remember, I talked about, what did I just say? Kuron as captain can have value because he's going to potentially reload that kinetic shot. That matters. I mean, I actually really like that idea. But here's the problem. You got to be specific what ship you're running it on. Because Kuron, if you remember, what did he say? I can pull it back up. We're here to educate, not to shame. So if we go back up in our screen here in the background, where's Kuron? There you are, buddy. So we'll put this away, rotate it on over. Here's Kuron. No negotiations, has a 50% chance to automatically recharge all kinetic weapons on the what? First round. Why does that matter? Why are we harping on the first round? Because what ship are we in? A Kelvin. The Kelvin does not fire its kinetic weapons until round 2. So Kuron doing literally nothing here. Kuron has no effect. He's not able to actually give you that extra charge, which would be nice, by the way, because the Kelvin has 2 kinetic weapons, both firing 3 times each in round 2. But in round 1, they do nothing. The only thing that fires in round 1 for the Kelvin is a phaser that fires 2 shots. That's not a kinetic weapon. That's an energy weapon. Thus, you've wasted Kuron's captain's ability on a Kelvin. Doesn't mean that you can't use it in some places, just not here. This doesn't work at all. And then you look at the sidecar. You've got Kang, which is fine. I mean, you're talking about creating synergy and stuff, good. But Kang is that officer that builds up our, remember? Accuracy. It's for fighting other interceptors. So while you're getting some boost here, it doesn't really help in this particular fight because, well, very clearly that's not an interceptor. That is an Enterprise, which is an Explorer. You can denote it by the little thingy right there. So the final one there is we've got Kang, and then we have got, and we went full synergy here, we've got another helmet crew. Now, the helmet crew is not a bad crew. I've seen it used for a long time. So right here, we've got Mara. Now, Mara's not my favorite. Wife of a Dahar, as long as the opponent has a hull breach, decreases its dodge. Here's the problem. Nobody's creating hull breach. Now, you do have multiple officers that can create hull breach, including Kang, technically. Not the best for that, but it can happen. Mara, though, giving you nothing here. Now, that is Mara, right? Let me make this bigger. Make sure I'm not... It did... Am I going blind? Is it? Yeah, that's Mara thing. Because her and Krell look so freaking identical. It is Mara. That's Mara. But how about we talk about why Krell would be better anyway? How about that? How about we talk about why Krell would be better? Bam! Here's why Krell would be better. Look at that ability on the right side, the officer building. Crew's defense to damage bonus against Federation ships. Well, what were we just fighting? An Enterprise, which is a Federation ship. So if we wanted that synergy boost, and maybe we see a lot of Federation ships, which you probably are going to see a lot of Federation ships as a Kelvin because Enterprises are so common, Kelvins are so common. That would have given you a better boost and you could have kept your synergy if you wanted it. But if we wanted to replace this, if you run a helmet crew on a Kelvin, you're going to be running Myrick, Mara, and Krell, not running, or I'm sorry, you mean Myrick, Krell, Mara, and Kang. Myrick is the other anti-Federation faction officer. So you see where I'm going with that. All of these officers not necessarily bad, but they need to be in the right place to work effectively, and that's not what we get here. So I stumbled over my words there, a part of that, but apologies there. And then there's your firing pattern for the Kelvin. For those who are unsure if Rev was giving you accurate information, in fact, I was. There's your firing pattern, which is why Kuron wouldn't be effective. One last time, I want to hit up and remind you about the Infinite Incursions news that was just posted on their website. Check it out, pass it around to your alliance, or just get them to watch this video so we can talk about how 10 incursion credits will let you invade an opposing server, and actually talks about how servers are matched, being based on the age of a server, as well as a few other factors. So there you go. Hopefully this video helped out. Live long and prosper. Stay safe for those Space Cowboys. Deuces. That's me. Catch you on the next one. I love you. I appreciate you, and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Bye.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.